A Texas lawmaker is looking to leave the Capitol and become the state's next Attorney General. State Senator Middleton announced Tuesday that he will run for AG in next year's Republican primary, hoping to replace Ken Paxton. Middleton is a Republican from Galveston and is the president of Middleton Oil Company. He served 2 terms in the Texas House before winning a seat in the state Senate. In a statement announcing his campaign, Middleton wrote, "As Attorney General, I will join President Trump in his efforts to return America and Texas to common sense and to fight to secure the border, ensure law and order, and be tough on crime." He went on to say, quote, "So goes Texas, so goes America. There isn't another Texas to move to, and I will work to ensure Texas is the safest state to live and raise a family." Middleton vowed to commit $10 million of his own money to his campaign effort. Middleton would have been up for re-election next year, so he'll have to give up his Senate seat to run for Attorney General. Middleton is the second Republican to announce a run for Attorney General. Last week, we told you that former U.S. Attorney John Bash announced his candidacy. We spoke to Bash earlier this week, and he told us why he's running and what his message is for Texas voters.
Well, I think the Attorney General is one of the most important positions in Texas government for protecting the safety and prosperity and constitutional rights of our citizens. And I think you need somebody in charge of that office that knows what they're doing from day one. I've been a U.S. attorney in this state, appointed by President Trump during the first term. I've argued 10 cases in the United States Supreme Court and multiple cases in our Texas Supreme Court. I know how to deal with difficult constitutional challenges. I know how to fight cartels, crime, human trafficking, and smuggling, and I'm prepared on day one to protect everybody's prosperity and liberty. When I was U.S. Attorney, we prosecuted one of the leaders of the Zetas cartel up in Waco and secured a life sentence against him for various crimes. We also prosecuted 2 of the worst child molesters in history, a couple who had molested dozens of children. And I could go on and on. We've prosecuted human smugglers that ended up killing the people they were smuggling. We prosecuted leaders of violent gangs. And of course, I prosecuted or indicted the terrorist who killed 23 people at the Walmart in El Paso and indicted him on capital charges when I was U.S. Attorney. So I've worked on a variety of cases, civil and criminal, in my career, and I'm ready on day one to protect everybody's constitutional rights. I'm not a career politician. I've never run for office before. I've been a U.S. Attorney under the Trump administration and a constitutional lawyer and a law clerk for Justices Scalia and Kavanaugh. So what I'm going to be saying when I go around and answer questions honestly to people is that I'm the person best prepared to lead that office on day one. The Attorney General is not a ceremonial position. It's not a position you use to advance your political career. It's a real working position that needs to come up with legal strategies to keep our citizens safe, to keep them prosperous, to challenge a federal government when it overreaches on regulations that hurt business. You need to be a real lawyer in charge of that office with real experience, not just somebody burnishing their credentials. This is a job interview for Texas. And the job we're interviewing for is the top law enforcement officer in this state. You need to be prepared immediately to have a strategy to go after cartel violence and gang violence, to go after drug addiction that are killing so many Texans and people around the country. You need to have a strategy to go to the U.S. Supreme Court when a federal law is violating the rights of Texans. You need to be prepared on day one to defend some of these great laws we have coming out of the legislature from constitutional challenges. That is not a job for a novice. It's not a job for somebody who's never been inside of a courtroom. It's a job for somebody who knows what they're doing. And I think my resume and my experience will stack up well against anybody who's going to run in this race.
Both Bash and Middleton are vying to replace current Attorney General Ken Paxton. Paxton is not running for re-election. Instead, he's launched a campaign to take on incumbent Republican Senator John Cornyn in the 2026 primary. This week, lawmakers in the Texas House signaled support to give Paxton more than $63,000 in back pay stemming from his impeachment trial. Paxton was suspended from office without pay in 2023 after the House impeached him on accusations of bribery, misuse of office, and retaliation. The Senate later acquitted him. On Tuesday, the House approved a motion to give Paxton his back pay, something the state's comptroller's office has said Texas law does not allow if an office holder was suspended. Still, Paxton has the support of many of the chamber's conservative members.
I'll just say, members, this shouldn't be controversial. We had a complete trial and we had an acquittal, and I think it's time to replace what was broken.
A Democratic representative raised questions about the constitutionality of providing back pay. However, the motion does not guarantee Paxton will receive the money. The Trump administration cancels a $60 million grant for high-speed rail in Texas. Sounds like a big setback, but find out why people behind the project are calling the decision good news.